Henshin Inspection presents Writer Tears. This is MJ. I'm an author, I'm an artist, I'm an analyzer. Find all my work at mjmunoz.com. Welcome to Writer Tears. Visit mjmunoz.com/RT for notes and links, and don't forget to subscribe. Like, share, and comment to help me grow. So, this is Writer T episode 00. Episode 0 was talking about the news of the big announcements of Shin Kamen writer of the Futo Detective PI or whatever manga, which is the sequel to Kamen Rider Double, and of the next year, I think that's spring 2022, and I believe also spring 2022 or just 2022 project, which is a year from this year, would be Kamen Rider Black Sun. So I'm excited about Kamen Rider Black Sun, and that's what I'm most excited about these three announcements. I'm not a huge Double fan, and Shin Kamen Rider is, a ways away, and I haven't seen Shin Ultraman or Shin Godzilla, so I don't know how good of a good job Anno is going to do, but I like Evangelion a lot, so hopefully it's good. I did want to talk about, which I actually neglected to talk about in the episode yesterday, or the previous one I did, the calligraphy for Kamen Rider Black Sun. And I also wanted to talk about, and I'm into pull-up images, but, well, if you listened yesterday, I don't got a lot of time and I don't got a lot of money, so I got to focus on doing the best I can with what I have. So I just have these same basic images that I used yesterday, the promotional art for these two, and I'm going to talk about them real quick. I think it's really interesting that this Hopper is in a trench coat looking thing, and it's long and billowy behind him, and he even looks like, it really looks like a dude in regular clothes. Like, looks like he's wearing regular pants, so he's wearing a regular jacket. He's got a special belt. It's not the classic Typhoon that we're used to, and I don't know how I feel about that. I would think it would have to be new. I just wonder how different the costume is going to look. He's got the scarf, which is great, but it's not, like, it's a scarf. It's not like the ascot type scarf that the original writer had. And the shape of the face looks correct, or the shape of the helmet looks correct. But it's interesting how the antennae are like more like little horns. Like a Gundam has those horns, the V-shaped crest or whatever. The antennae on this Rider helmet almost look more like that. But this is, this is a drawing. This is a drawing or a painting or a, sketch or whatever. So there's no telling if this is what it's actually going to look like, in the finished product, or if this is just the idea that sparks the project. That could have been what this was, the best piece of concept art that they had, because of how meaningful it was. So I'm trying to see, I can't quite, something's blocking my vision. Oh, no. Oh, okay, that's just, at the bottom it just says shinkamenrider.jp. So anyway, yeah, I wanted to talk about that. I think it's interesting that they're going to change up the Cyclone. I wonder exactly how they're going to change it up. It still could be, let me see, based on, even zooming in, I can't really get that much more level of detail. It still could be that it's a turbine-based thing, but just maybe it's encased in a different thing, so the belt itself would look a little different, but feel like a spiritual successor. For crying out loud, he's wearing a jacket, like a duster type thing with pants. So, especially being a motorcycle rider, like, they might just have him dressed more like a World War II motorcycle rider, which would be okay with me, I guess. I was going to say, I would appreciate it more if the duster was simply that shape to evoke the grasshopper wings, because I feel like the two green, shapes on the rider's back are supposed to evoke grasshopper wings, but the grasshopper wings are probably the least emphasized thing in any Kamen Rider design I've ever seen. Which, it's not a huge deal. He's not supposed to be a flying guy. He's supposed to be a jumping guy. So I can see that. And grasshoppers themselves rarely fly, or unless they're like a swarm of locusts. But they usually, they jump most of the time. So anyway, I just find that kind of interesting. So I don't mind the duster. I'm open to the suit being very different. But I love the original suit, the Sakajima Rider 1 suit. Those are probably my two favorites. I like the leatheriness of them. And they just seem cooler than like the current modern version. And I don't mean the Fujioka one from the Kamen Rider movie with Ghost in it. I mean like the it's like a jersey or like a very soft material, and it's got the silver stripes on it, right? You know what I'm talking about? And he's got silver gloves, and Rider 2 has red gloves, like, and the black helmet. Like, I'm okay with those changes, but I struggle with them because they're just not as cool as the original. So that's a little unfortunate. But hey, what are you gonna do? I'm open to change, and I'm open to exploring this new version, this new idea of Rider. And honestly, I mean, you want good-looking modern Rider suits. Kamen Rider the first and the next have fantastic-looking suits. I mean, Rider 1, Rider 2, V3, wowza. Good quality stuff. High quality. It's high quality, as 01 would have you believe. So, I'm going to go ahead and move on. Let me see. For my sake, I'm 5.5 minutes into this, so I'm going to switch over my image and focus on this for the video version of this. The Kamen Rider Black logo. I really wanted to pull up other images, like I said, but I didn't. Birugania, who I mentioned, is a character in Kamen Rider Black. He has a shield that has a snake on it, and the snake is trying to eat a globe, basically. So it's like the snake that consumes the world. And the symbol on Black's chest, on his left breast, over where his heart would be, there's a circle, and there's a squiggly line, kind of like vaguely in an N or Z type shape, right? You can picture that zigzagging, kind of curving zigzag with a circle after it. I believe that on his chest is evocative, or a modern version, of the serpent eating the world on the shield of Birugania. And I believe the Satan Saber also has snaky imagery, and it's got jewels and stuff. And Birugania's has jewels in it, or like one large jewel. I'm trying to remember. I mostly remember the pink armor. Anyway, and this on the L of Kamen Rider Black, or Black Sun rather. I guess it's probably, no, that's Kamen Rider Black. Anyway, where's the sun? Is it just the sun behind it? Because I think the subs are adding more. Anyway, but the L has a snake wrapped around it, which is very evocative of that, snake eating the world, and there's a sun behind it, or, eating some sort of sphere. And, gosh, I think that's a really interesting design. It looks really good, and I'm not exactly sure what it feels evocative of to me, or what it's trying to say, but I like it. I guess I just kind of wanted to bring up those connections between and I realized yesterday, as I was listening back before I published the episode, that I failed to go ahead and talk about the calligraphy in depth like I said I would. So here I am doing it, and yeah, I mean, it's cool. It looks good. The fact that snake is in there, is that just because that's a fundamental design aspect of Kamen Rider Black, and they just wanted to make sure that was well represented, or does that mean, kind of like I was speculating, that they're gonna, I don't know, change some things, or it will really be a new interpretation of the story. It's not just gonna be the same. Like, we're not gonna see Black fighting Bison Girl and the rhinoceros guy who's gonna hurt Battle Hopper. Is it just, I don't think it's going to be a retread. I think it's going to be something new, and I'm looking forward to that newness, and I really wonder what exactly will be new and what will be changed, and I'm looking forward to seeing that. So, gosh, it's really exciting, and I know you can't read too much into, the calligraphy or whatever, but, and these are just promotional images, but, they could be very accurate promotional images. They could be promotional images that mean a lot, that give us clues as to what's going to be happening. And I don't know, something about the power of that serpent is I don't know, it feels very evocative and very representative to me of kind of like a dualistic nature, but maybe it's not. Maybe that's just some of me coming through here, but it definitely does feel like it's having the snake up front there. It really does to me. I mean, if you think about it, that squiggly snake plus the sun behind it, that's the thing on his chest. So is it like, I don't know, is it going to be emphasizing certain bits of lore? Like the whole Birugania thing. And honestly, as much as I love Kamen Rider Black, I have heard from people who have been involved with Tokusatsu for far longer than I have, that Kamen Rider Black, and I've looked at it a little bit too on like the Japanese wiki, it had like 10, 15 writers. I don't mean common writers. It had 10 or 15 different people writing the show. And directors switch up like a decent amount in the older shows. But the writers sometimes it's more stable, and there's there is the writer's room. There is such a thing as the writer's room and such, but then you have instances where there's just one main writer, or a lot of, my impression from watching kind of closely Super Sentai over the last while. I haven't watched everything over the last 10 or 11 years as it's come out, but I watched a good handful, and it seems like they're pretty consistent with having a head writer, and then that head writer does a bulk of the work. Or even for Kamen Rider series, there have been 2 or 3. I'm thinking X-Aid, I'm thinking Build, I'm thinking Ghost, Ghost less so, but like X-Aid and Build, and even like Double and Drive. Drive less so, but like Double, it's almost all Riku Sanjo, and it's some other people helping. I think with Q Ranger, the dancing samba dinosaur one, that was also mostly Riku Sanjo, but he had a little more help. But like Build was basically the one guy. Ghost, that guy did a lot. I can't remember his name right now. He did most of it, but like I'd say he probably really did like 60% of it, and then he did movie stuff, which didn't make sense that he was focusing on like getting the movies right and not working on the show itself. So that was kind of weird. But then like X-Aid, that guy wrote most of X-Aid, and I think he came back for 01, and I believe he did himself write like 70 or 80% of 01, but not 100% of it. Or like Inoue writing Kiva, like all of Kiva, and I think all of Jetman, with maybe a couple episodes exceptions. I think he had Kobayashi write 1 or 2 episodes of Kiva for him, because anyway, seems like they have some sort of working relationship. Anyway, so a show doesn't have to have a single writer behind it in order to have a good vision and to be quality, but I think it helps, honestly, and Kamen Rider Black didn't have that, so maybe part of what Shiraissi's doing, although he's the director, not the writer necessarily, right? I gotta look back at those notes and see if he's gonna be writing and directing or what. But if he's like the visionary behind it, then maybe there's going to be some sort of correction or improvement to make the show better, to make it a more cohesive narrative. Because, there's weird stuff in it that doesn't quite make sense. I'm thinking about the time-traveling samurai, like I think Black was like 53 episodes. It was like episode 50 or like episode 48. It's like, what are you doing with these time-traveling samurai hijinks when I want to see, the brothers fight? Not that I want to see them fight, but like, it's the end of the show. They have to fight. When is it going to happen? Anyway, but yeah, so I'm wondering, is it possible that snake on the L isn't just a snake on the L? It actually means something way deeper and profound. But that's just me being excited about the show, and this is speculation, but it's fun speculation. So anyway, that's pretty much all I have to say. I'm gonna go ahead and wrap up. I'm gonna ask that you go over to mgmunoz.com. mgmunoz.com/RT is where you should find Writer Tiers, which it'll have all the old MJ Loves Toku stuff on it, but it'll have like it'll kind of delineate between them. I mean, they're going to be called MJLT 1 through 70 something, and then it'll be RT00 or RT0 and RT00 to show the delineation between that, and the Writer Tier stuff is going to be at the top. I think for the SSS, I'll keep it the same SSS, so you wouldn't have to go ahead and resubscribe or whatever. It'll just launch as Writer Tiers and or relaunch as Writer Tiers, and that feed will become active again. That way I don't lose anybody, and I was mostly just talking about Kamen Rider there anyway, so it's not really going to matter that I'm switching things up. And over there, I'll make the official announcement that there's all this Henshin inspection stuff going on too. So yeah, anyway, I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. I'm going to remind you that you don't need to shout Henshin to be a hero, and I'm going to leave you with peace and blessings. For now, this is MJ signing off.